X just tucked in as part of what looks like a long string of labourers working very hard for Mads Pedersen, who's tucked in. Luke Plapp staying very much attentive. Notice as well that Theo Geoghegan-Hart's just coming up to lend a hand, manning the pumps, as you might say. Alexander Kristoff has just slightly disengaged. He's back down off the bottom of your screen at the moment. He's sharing sort of the road space with Mads Schmidt from Israel Premier Tech as we speak. They still push on. Doing the work for X, just tucked in amongst the Trek boys. I noticed that Anders Skarzev was busy sacrificing himself as well. He was there. Torius Slane as well. And they're doing good work. Jonas Greyard has done a lot, but it's for Tobias Johannesson in the blue jersey, who watched Evenepoel sail by him. I'm not sure whether he was minded to try and match his pace and go for his position, or whether just to stay tucked in, or whether he had anything left. In fact, it's a miracle that they've got anything left after such a long, tough day that we had yesterday. Nearly 5 hours in the saddle into largely a block headwind for much of the day. It was cruel. At least we had sunshine. Today we've got rain, but on whose parade? There is the blue jersey. He's had his trials and troubles today. In fact, many riders have get caught out by crashes, splits in the peloton because of those crashes, and indeed attempts to split the peloton due to changes in direction and the wind that's been blowing. But now it's all to naught. They're back together, and you've got to ride your ill fortune, Brian. It's part of cycling.
Yeah, you do. I'm not totally convinced in this lap here as well. Some of these kind of pinch points at the roundabouts. Yeah. But I've got a clock running as well on this roundabout coming up. It's still X, Trek, Intermarché, but it looks as if X are committing a one more rider as we come in. It's down to 54 seconds, so it is coming back.
There we are. In fact, it's just being displayed for you now on our visual display unit. 13.3 kilometres. Sounds like a game show. Well, it's a tough game to play, this one. Little bit of nerves being displayed here throughout the peloton, some here as well, as we just look down this line of talent and just wonder who is going to close this gap. 51 seconds. Big work being put in, I must say, for Intermarché Wanty on behalf of Kristoff. So he must be feeling comfortable, and this is part of his battle plan that he's dictating, Brian. So he may not be in sight just for the time being, but he'll pop up at the end. That's almost guaranteed.
Well, he will. This is his last chance to win a stage in this race, and he'll want to. He's tried on other occasions. He's just with the Alpecin riders here, and you have to. This is a big ride here from Intermarché, Trek and X, and they have to do it now, because as soon as we get onto this climb, then I think their day will be done, and they'll have to kind of leave it up to the kind of principals now. But it's the interest for me now is the rider in blue for Tobias Johannesson. Is he going to kind of follow? I don't think he will. I think he will be on the attack on the last time up this climb in this finishing circuit, because he wants to get on that podium, and he wants a reduced sprint, because if it is a sprint, then the likes of Kristoff, Mads Pedersen, Ethan Vernon will be the faster of the riders come to finish.
It's time. Well, Van Hooijdonk had a good old late dig yesterday, didn't he? He's getting himself up into position potentially to do precisely that in the yellow and black of Jumbo-Visma up towards the front. A lot of work being put in by Julius Johansson for Alexander Kristoff. Kristoff coming around that roundabout now. He chooses the correct side to go, shortest way through. That shows the wisdom that we've been talking about from a man who is very much at home on this circuit. He'll know he needs to be up towards the front. The breakaway with a margin at the moment declared at 39-38 seconds. And the pace here very high. We might actually get a visual this time by on the straighter part of the road. A little bit of a traffic calming device just challenging the machinery and the cameraman here. doing a good job. Ben Healy cannot avoid the temptation, I am certain, of attacking on the climb, and we will be on that climb. The last passing of the Grana Cross and the Griesbakken will come with 9.8 kilometres to go. In fact, I think it's actually, that's the start of the climb. Well, the actual crest of it, which is categorised as the last categorised climb of the day. The crest is at 7.2, so we're nearly there. Let's start climbing. Down by the water's edge they come, 41 seconds, 40. We're counting them down again to Ben Healy, potentially.
Yeah, I think the speed of the peloton into that climb, it will come back very, very quickly. The unfortunate side for the breakaway is that they will go up there with some pace, and I think Ben Healy will go up there, but from the top, I think it's if he goes alone or MD goes alone from that breakaway, I think it's always going to be, game over from the top of that climb and towards the finish. They're going to need numbers to ride in, and the likes of if Corbin Strong, Healy and Vermeersch, the three of them are together at the top of the climb, then they have a chance, even if they've got about 25-30 seconds, but I don't think it will be anywhere near that, because the peloton is up to speed. There's a few teams willing to ride, and this looks as if it's going to be a sprint finish. Whether it's going to be a big group finish or a small detached group, this climb will determine that.
Haller looks like he's riding for Shane Archbold today, which would be great. Meanwhile, there's the orange jersey just being passed by the Danish champion of Mads Verge Schmidt, the orange jersey of Remco Evenepoel, getting himself where he needs to be. Also livening up is Pippo Fiorelli in the purple, as Brian would say. They're indeed keeping the wheel of Remco Evenepoel, determined to have a go at that. Andre Amador is now just going to come up and set the pace on behalf of Ethan Hayter, who's now moved himself up to a headlining position. 35 seconds now to our breakaway. Haven't seen too much of them. They may well share the picture. Everyone there battling for position. It's the last time up the climb. Already engaged on the climb will be our breakaway. These guys, however, have to sort themselves out. Is it for Shane Archbold today? For Bora Hansgrohe? I think so.
Could possibly be, but you have to be there, and that's why they're pushing for position. And let's see what happens over the top of the climb. Personally, I would still go for Haller because he's already proven he's very capable of winning.
On the radio now.
They have got Haller up towards the front now, and Alpecin are there, but they have to keep on pressing on now. They can't ease up.
Israel having a dig. Tom Van Esbroek, Darrell Impey for them today, potentially. They do have Corbin Strong, who's been doing a sterling job up front. There is the breakaway. 24 seconds, 23 is the margin. They're just turning onto the climb. These guys have got a highway, but it could turn into a byway if they don't get themselves into position. Shane Archbold's just disengaged from from his teammates, as you can see. It's Freddie Van Dahl that's leading Marco Haller for the time being in the petrol green, just over to the right-hand side. Theo Gegenhardt in a decent position. You can also see Luke Rowe here and Plapp. Ethan Hayter now just coming up on the left-hand side, wearing number 1. Late to the party, but better late than never, and may well have a victory here. Don't forget, Hayter won on stage 2, brilliantly so, into Gayo. 8.4 kilometres, and that the orange jersey just next to him, in fact just in front of him, is Alexander Kristoff. And in fact, it's the wheel that Evenepoel is following is Kristoff, and that's wise things. He's a man who knows this circuit very, very well. That is Haller, number 12, just in front of Kristoff with his bright yellow sleeves. Others starting to make some moves here. Nice to see Kasper Asgreen as well from Quick-Step, also just up towards the 4 in support of Evenepoel, but might be given a free hand. White jersey, young rider's jersey of Magnus Sheffield, also looking strong. He can climb and may well even be the chosen son to drive this one home. He's on the back wheel at the moment of Theo Gegenhardt as they begin the climb. A little bit of a pinch. 4 wide, 3 wide as they come into this narrow ribbon of asphalt. Not much chance to make any moves, and Kristoff is just as before on the drift, but he can retrieve the situation. He plays this clever. How clever have these guys been? Let's see what Ben Healy does on the climb. There's the narrowing indicator, that blue padded bar there, which bars trucks from coming up this now narrowing road. Some going around it, got to jink their way back in, almost collecting. In fact, I think that might have been Christoph just readjusting himself. Meanwhile, the crest, who's got what it takes from the breakaway, and they fancy this, or at least Corbin Strong does, and he's the one that kicks off, and it's Ben Healy that follows into him in the most difficult part of the climb as the drizzle starts to intensify. And these guys as well, what other dressings may well indeed be poured upon this? Let's see, 7.2 kilometres to go. They're just out of sight, but not out of mind. Christoph is back towards the front. He may well start the drift now, but good blocking manoeuvre, I think, by Intermarché Wanty, who seem to be up front and preventing others from leaping forward. The orange jersey of Evenepoel is on the right-hand side, sorry, on the left-hand side of the road, just bouncing into contention. The word Christoph just writ large here. Can he describe or indeed respond to that? Let's wait and see. That's Ben Healy just being tagged now as they drive from others behind. Starts to engage. Strong going up and over the top. And Gianni Vermeersch has stayed with this. And he's a decent sprinter, as we've mentioned, but there's some strong men coming here as well. And Christoph is all over his bike, as you can see. Number 31 with the bright yellow sleeves. Some others as well, just having to really work the day to get over the top. He's done that duty, so Christoph is in a very strong position, I think it's fair to say. Lastra also making it through. These guys still there from the breakaway, but I think it's going to be heartbreak for them with such power behind them. But let's see, they're having to wrestle their bikes to close this gap even now.
Yeah, no attack from the blue jersey, surprisingly. He's a little bit too far back. He has moved up a little bit now. Christoph, you know, he started at the front and he's in this front group. That was Tosh van der Sande for Jumbo-Visma that tried to go on the attack in the yellow on that climb, but it looks as if it's...
Here goes Evenepoel, moving up on the right here, Brian.
Yeah, it's the team of Ineos Grenadiers now that are taking control. So Ethan Hayter is all about getting position there before that final climb. It's stretched out a little bit. But I do think if you've got good position there, then you're in this front group. I think the other group will come back. But yeah, as soon as they accelerated into that gap, it was the breakaway was doomed. And it's tailgating hat with Lucas Plapp, Mads Pedersen there. As we move further back, we have got some riders distanced, but I think they'll get back before the finish.
Big last kick from Corbin Strong as he just leans into that corner, chased as he is by Vermeersch, but they're on the case of the breakaway right now, and it's going to be moderated as they push into town. Timo Roesen working hard for Jumbo-Visma, the Netherlands champion, as they come onto the highway, and youngsters stream across the fields here to get another look on this loop circuit. Still Strong pushing on. Great effort by him, and Ineos Grenadiers working very hard for Ethan Hayter. Tucked within that group is Alexander Christoph. He's just with a bike length gap. He's at the back of that little tiny gap, and just closing that down right now. Haller has been here. I'm not sure that Shane Archbold is now. And whether that last climb is actually done for him, I guess we're going to find out. That was a clever piece of riding, I must say, from this man, Timo Roesen, who's lit it up. And this is a bid for glory from long distance. Fantastic by the Dutch champion. Got himself into a perfect position, and he's pushed on, doing what Nathan Hooydonk did yesterday late. And now it's his bid for glory with 5 to go. Can he possibly make this stick? Two potentially riders with more fatigue in their legs than he has, as he starts to TT this one as he drifts over to that bit of street furniture, just about takes the apex off it, and he's on full attack. It's his bid for glory here, Brian.
Well, Tunissen was involved with the crash earlier on today, so, and it's just the way that Jumbo-Visma are going to ride this race. And Tosh van der Sande was the other rider that went on the attack. Timo Roesen. If Timo Roesen is brought back, which I think he will, Nathan van Hooydonk might think about it as well. They're just going to the attack to try and win that stage that they haven't got in this race so far.
Yes, apologies. Of course, Roosen, the Netherlands champion. Oh, just has a look back and almost gets into, takes down Corbin Strong. Vermeersch, who's, don't forget, if that turns into a 3-up sprint, Vermeersch should have it. And he knows that. 4.9 kilometres to go. Have they misjudged it this time by? Let's see. A big engine room in Timo Roosen as he drives it on, just out of sight, screened by the trees here. And plenty of others now just looking at each other. Who's going to engage the chase? Timo Roosen can kick this on. I don't think he'll win out of this trio. I think it'll be Vermeersch from Astana if they have the opportunity of getting home. They've got to just push on nonetheless if they want to share the spoils today between the three of them. Late to the party is Timo Roosen, doing a fantastic job, and that trio is there, but can they be wound in? It's down to the strong if they believe that they can catch them, and there is Fiorelli involved here. Likewise is Holgaard and of course Mads Pedersen, number 82, just ahead of Evenepoel here. There is the looming large figure of Alexander Kristoff, 3.7 kilometres. How much panic is there? Haller, who won of course on stage 4, also tucked in. And the Netherlands champion, I think, calling himself off at the moment and saying to these guys, well, you do it. I've got teammates more important than me, potentially, for today. But he's going to stay here, Roos, and just gets back into that position. And it's the pickup now is made by Strong, and a look behind by Vermeersch. And I think he is least minded to push on at this late stage in the day. Roosen just does a trackies check under his shoulder to see who's there, wondering potentially about his teammate Turnison, but he took a tumble which may well have opened the door for others to come forward. We saw Tosh van der Sander as well as Van Hooijdonk having a little dig earlier on today. Still hasn't made the full decision, and I'm not sure whether Timo Roosen's fatigue here is actually a bit of psychological gameplay. I think he'll kick again. They all take another look. They're all looking behind them. I think they still believe, and look how cagey Gianni Vermeersch is getting at the moment. Well, they're running out of road here. If they want to cat and mouse, this is a dangerous game to play. Some powerful men behind them, and here comes Alexander Kristoff. He's going to do it on his own, I believe. Marco Haller in a decent position as well for the boys from Bora Hansgrohe. Take this little double corner right now. They'll be getting to that elevated section with the nasty little gnarly turns that they've got. Last look from Gianni Vermeersch. He'd have to go very long if he was going to make it this time by, and it looks like they may well be tagged at the very last, Brian.
Yeah, it's Ineos with the Australian champion Plapp doing the work and an attack now from Vermeersch, but it's a little bit too late now on the last legs, and does look as if Quick Step have got Ethan Vernon also in this group here. So with Ineos and Quick Step willing to chase, you know, this is going to come down to a reduced sprint in the end.
And it is Roosen that picks it up once again. He kicks on. Vermeersch tried it, couldn't get there, and now he's backing into the pack. There goes Evenepoel just around on his left-hand side. Evenepoel looking like he's doing the lead-out duties. Here's for Ethan Vernon playing a team player right now. But look at Kristoff embedded within here as well. Oh, little jink and dive, and Mads Pedersen just kicked out of position momentarily for Trek Segafredo. Have done most of the work today, it seems, in neutralising this breakaway, and they come out of this bunny hop central and have to pick it up. And guess what? It's Alexander Kristoff that finds himself in a privileged position at the moment. The blue jersey of Johannesson is here, sitting just in front of the leader's orange jersey, as you can see. But this is a time to drive it home if you've got any kind of advantage. They're running out of road, running out of time. Are they running out of space? Holgaard it is that's doing the lead in, and Fiorelli's in a great place here for Bardiani in the purple. Still waiting for it as they go under the Flamme Rouge. Kristoff hasn't lit it up just yet. Has he got anything left in the legs? And it's Plapp that takes this corner. Cutting on the inside is Holgaard, trying to lead Mads Pedersen into a happy place, and does so. And it's Holgaard with Pedersen on his back wheel. Still going to trouble them is Pippo Fiorelli. That is if, of course, Ethan Vernon can't have his fun. And now he comes around the outside. On his back wheel is Alexander Kristoff with the Dayglow helmet. Kristoff in third place at the moment, but being fought for here by Mads Pedersen. He wants a piece of this. Christoph says, this is my terrain. The man who wants to stay with him is Pippo Fiorelli. Can't quite get there. Bit of shoulderage here from Pedersen. Tries to push Christoph wide, and suddenly it opens up. They can see more or less the finale. Here is the 300 marker. Fiorelli comes up on the outside. Here, the outside wheel, does he? Not quite just yet, and lights it up goes Christoph. Christoph owns this terrain. He has done on 3 occasions in the past. Is he going to get there? Could Pedersen deny him at the very line? Here he comes, Christoph. Oh, the king of this place, Lord of Stavanger. Hey, he is the man on a day like this. It had to be, and finally he gets the win he wants for Intermarché Wanty-Gobert. Knowledge played a big part there, but also power and poise, and he had all those things. Good win, worthy win from a man who's won here before many times.
Strong win. Few comments after that that stage win, but yeah, he had the power in the end. You know, he was looked after, and it's just the way he took that sprint, and we're going to see it again. Look, it's one of these sprints where the layout of the sprint is causing a little bit of concern, because Askren was leading Ethan Vernon out there, and when Christoph started to open up, he came over on Ethan Vernon, who wasn't overly happy about it, you know, when we hit the finishing line. But it's the shortest way around. We had it yesterday. It's the shortest way around to go to the left, and he did. But it's one of these sprints that you do have to take it on from the front because of the bends in the roads, taking the shortest way there. But yeah, he got himself in the right place. Ethan Vernon kind of pushed just before that Ethan Hayter out of it, because Ethan Hayter was having to do it on his own. But Ethan Vernon, following Askren, kind of pushed a little bit of Ethan Hayter out of position. But it was all about position coming into this, and the master at doing this today was Alexander Christoph, and he gets that win, and well deserved. A few comments afterwards, Fiorelli involved there, but we'll see.
Fiorelli, well, a man with no fear. Maybe needs to build a bit into his day. Luke Rowe coming across the line did a great job today to try and make it happen for Ethan Hayter, who got caught out by a crash earlier on. Had to work his way back in. Well, we said the clever rider here today was going to be Alexander Christoph, and foreknowledge counts for an awful lot, and he timed it brilliantly.
He did. He had to do a lot of it on his own, and you know, he was kind of pushing and shoving when Askren and Vernon were in front. You know, he had Mads Pedersen. They were wanting the wheel of Vernon, and Christoph never gave up. That's the thing. He never gave up on getting that wheel, and he eventually got it. And once he got it, he opened up slightly before Ethan Vernon did, and then moves to the left on him. But that was with these corners, left-hand corners, that's you take the shortest way around. It was a very experienced sprint, and he used his experience to his help there. Mads Pedersen just didn't have the legs in the end. I think we mentioned that. But here we come again. He just kind of moves over, and Ethan Vernon had to kind of sit down. And, you know, he's having to settle for second place yet again. Just a gesture to him. But when you put these corners in, there's nothing you can do. These left-hand corners, it's not a straight sprint, and if Ethan Vernon wanted to win that, he should have anticipated this and gone a little bit earlier. But unfortunately, when Christoph came over and kind of checked him a little bit, he lost momentum, lost speed. But that's experience for you, and that's sprinting.
Ethan Vernon's had some fantastic drives here. He lost out to Haller, don't forget, on stage 4. Came very close here. I was tracing Pedersen at that point because they'd done so much work. I expected him to at least get some dividend. In the end, it was third place for him, behind the charging Vernon. But Alexander Christoph, no doubt about the man who really had this mapped out, and he wins here yet again. He'd done it as a team race in Katusha back in 2013, 2014, 2015 and 2017, and now 2022. When's he going to stop winning here, Brian?
Possibly when he retires, but it was, you know, the pressure was on him there. You know, and he delivers yet again. It was a very experienced sprint there.
Ja, her kommer alle for å gratulere Alexander Kristoff med seieren. Der satt han! Gratulerer, hvordan opplevdes det?
Ja, det var deilig. Jeg ville ikke vente i dag, sånn som sist gang, og prøvde bare å starte tidlig, og det holdt helt inn.
Men det var litt knuffing på veien her.